The massive alien ship appeared in Earth's sky without warning. It hung above the planet like a silver tear, reflecting sunlight as it slowly entered orbit. On the bridge of the EDF Intrepid, Commander Laura Bennett stood with her hands clasped behind her back, trying to keep her breathing steady. "Are they responding to our hails?" she asked, eyes never leaving the view screen. Lieutenant Paul Adams shook his head. "Nothing yet, Commander, but they haven't taken any aggressive actions either." Laura nodded. After decades of searching the stars and sending signals into the void, humanity finally had its answer. They were not alone. But first contact was happening nothing like the thousands of simulations they had run. "Keep trying all frequencies and language patterns," she ordered, "and alert Earth Defense Command that we're maintaining position." The tension on the bridge was thick enough to cut with a knife. Several minutes passed in silence, broken only by the soft beeps of the ship's systems. Then suddenly, the communications panel lit up. "Commander, we're receiving a transmission." The alien face that appeared on the main screen looked almost reptilian, with blue-gray skin and large, multifaceted eyes that reminded Laura of a dragonfly. The universal translator took a moment to process, then a calm, slightly mechanical voice filled the bridge. "People of Earth, I am Ambassador Zorketh of the Viridian Confederation, representing the Galactic Council. We come in peace to formally welcome humanity into the interstellar community." 4 hours later, Laura found herself in a conference room at Earth Defense Headquarters, alongside the Secretary General of the United Nations, Kate Morrison, and several top scientists and military officials. Across from them sat Ambassador Zorketh and 3 other aliens, each from different species. "We have observed your civilization for some time," Zorketh explained. "It is standard protocol before making contact. Your recent development of efficient fusion drive technology signaled your readiness to join the wider galactic community." Dr. Alan Woods, Earth's leading xenobiologist, leaned forward. "You mean there are more civilizations out there? How many?" One of the other aliens, with pale skin and 4 arms, answered. "The Galactic Council currently includes 327 spacefaring civilizations within this galaxy alone." The humans in the room exchanged glances of amazement. Laura noticed Secretary General Morrison's hands trembling slightly before she clasped them together on the table. "And you all coexist peacefully?" Morrison asked. "For the most part," Zorketh said. "There are occasional disputes, but open warfare has been rare for millennia." As the meeting continued, Laura found herself studying the aliens closely. Despite their calm words and gestures of friendship, something felt off. When Dr. Woods moved suddenly to retrieve a fallen stylus, she noticed how the aliens flinched. When Major Frank Cooper laughed at a small joke, the reaction was even more pronounced. They seemed afraid. But why would beings with such advanced technology fear humans? Later, as the aliens toured the facility, Laura pulled Dr. Woods aside. "Have you noticed how they react to us? They're nervous." Woods nodded slowly. "I thought it was just normal caution in a first contact situation, but you're right. It's more than that. I'm going to find out why," Laura said firmly. That evening, during a formal dinner welcoming the alien delegation, Laura carefully observed their reactions. When Major Cooper described Earth's recent military exercises, the aliens exchanged quick glances. When Dr. Woods discussed advances in genetic engineering, Ambassador Zorketh actually backed away from the table slightly. As Laura reached for her water glass, she accidentally knocked over her knife. Before anyone could react, she caught it midair, by the handle. A simple reflex. The room went completely silent. All 4 aliens stared at her with what could only be described as horror. "Is something wrong?" Laura asked, placing the knife carefully on the table. Ambassador Zorketh composed himself quickly. "Not at all, Commander Bennett." An impressive display of reflexes, but Laura had seen it. For just a moment, the mask of diplomatic politeness had slipped, revealing something underneath that made her blood run cold. "Fear." Unmistakable fear. The aliens were terrified of humans, and Laura Bennett was determined to find out why. 3 months after the aliens arrived, Commander Laura Bennett found herself packing a bag in her apartment. She carefully folded her dress uniform and placed it on top of her other clothes. The communication device on her desk chimed. "Commander Bennett here," she answered. "Laura, it's William." The voice of William Carter, Earth's top diplomat, sounded excited. "Are you ready for tomorrow? I still can't believe they invited us to their central hub." Laura smiled slightly, almost packed. "And yes, it's quite the honor." After first contact, relations with the Galactic Council had progressed quickly. Now, the human delegation was invited to visit Nexus Prime, the center of galactic governance. Laura, William, and Dr. Olivia Martinez would represent Earth. "Have you noticed the aliens still seem nervous around us?" Laura asked. "Every single species," William confirmed. "I'm hoping this trip will help us understand why." The next morning, the human delegation boarded the Viridian vessel that would take them to Nexus Prime. The ship was enormous, with corridors that seemed to stretch for miles. Their guide, a Viridian named Trelcor, showed them to their quarters. "The journey will take 4 days in hyperspace," Trelcor explained. "Please remain in your designated areas unless escorted." After Trelcor left, Dr. Martinez raised an eyebrow. "Designated areas. Sounds like we're being contained." "I noticed the same thing," Laura said. "Let's play along for now, but keep our eyes open." During meals, the humans met other species traveling on the ship. Laura counted representatives from at least 15 different alien civilizations. Some looked almost human, while others were completely different. Floating gas clouds contained in special suits, crystalline beings that communicated through light patterns, and creatures that seemed made of living metal. All of them kept a careful distance from the humans. On the third day, Laura found William in the ship's observation lounge, staring out at the swirling colors of hyperspace. A group of small, furry aliens quickly moved away as she approached. "I tried asking the Zentari why everyone seems so cautious around us," William said quietly. He changed the subject immediately. "Dr. Martinez has been collecting data," Laura replied. "She says many species show physical signs of stress when we enter a room: increased body temperature, faster breathing, defensive postures. But why? We haven't done anything threatening." Later that day, Dr. Martinez called them to her quarters. She had set up her equipment to scan the ship's information network. "Look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. "I found files about Earth in their database. Most are encrypted, but I managed to access a few." The files showed detailed maps of Earth's continents, analyses of our atmosphere, and studies of Earth animals. One file contained images of human bodies with numerous annotations in alien script. "They've been studying us for longer than they admitted," Laura said. "But this doesn't explain their fear." On the final day of the journey, their ship exited hyperspace. Through the viewing windows, they saw Nexus Prime for the first time. The planet was surrounded by countless ships and space stations, forming a glittering shell around a blue-green world. "It's beautiful," William whispered. Their shuttle descended to the planet's surface, landing at a massive complex of buildings that seemed to stretch to the horizon. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved through grand plazas and corridors. Ambassador Zorketh greeted them at the landing pad. "Welcome to the heart of galactic civilization. The Council is most interested in meeting you." As they walked through the complex, Laura noticed something odd. The areas they passed through were quickly clearing of other aliens. It was as if a bubble of empty space surrounded them. "Your quarters have been specially constructed to replicate Earth conditions," Zorketh explained, leading them to a separate building. "For your comfort." But Laura couldn't help noticing the security measures: reinforced walls, multiple airlocks, and surveillance devices that weren't even trying to be hidden. "This isn't guest quarters," she whispered to William and Olivia when they were alone. "It's a containment facility." Dr. Martinez nodded grimly. "And we need to find out what they're containing us for." Outside their windows, the shining spires of the galactic civilization stretched into the alien sky, beautiful and mysterious. And somewhere in this vast complex lay the answer to why the most advanced species in the galaxy feared humanity. The morning after their arrival on Nexus Prime, Dr. Olivia Martinez examined their quarters more carefully. The rooms looked Earth-like, but small details were wrong. The beds were too soft, the chairs oddly shaped, and the temperature slightly higher than comfortable. They tried to make it like home, but they don't really understand us, she told Laura and William over breakfast. A chime sounded, and their guide Trelcor entered. The council has arranged for you to attend a scientific conference today. Many species are eager to learn about human advances. 2 hours later, they sat in a vast circular hall filled with hundreds of alien scientists. When Dr. Martinez was called to speak, she walked confidently to the central platform. Humans have made significant progress in medical science, she began, displaying images on the large screens. We've developed treatments for many diseases, including various forms of cancer. A murmur ran through the audience. Olivia continued, describing gene therapy, organ transplants, and surgical procedures. With each new topic, the aliens' reactions grew stronger. Some were leaning forward with what seemed like fascination, others drawing back in what could only be described as horror. When she described how humans could receive blood transfusions from other humans, several aliens actually left the room. Laura and William exchanged glances. Something about basic human medical procedures was deeply disturbing to the aliens. After the conference, they were escorted back to their quarters. Their path took them through a garden area where aliens of various species relaxed and socialized. All activity stopped as the humans passed by. "Did you hear what they were saying?" William asked once they were alone. "I caught phrases like, 'They do this to their own bodies,' and 'How can they survive such procedures?'" Laura nodded. "And did you notice the security? There were guards at every exit, watching us specifically." That night, unable to sleep, Laura paced their common area. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming. She ran her fingers along the walls, searching for surveillance devices, looking for something. William asked, emerging from his room. "I know they're monitoring us," Laura replied. "But why? What are they afraid we'll do?" Dr. Martinez joined them, carrying her small computer device. "I've been analyzing our situation, the conference today, the reactions to human medicine. I think they find us physically disturbing in some way. We look similar to several other species," William pointed out. "It's not our appearance," Olivia said. "It's something about our biology or capabilities." Laura noticed a small seam in the wall panel. She pressed it, and the panel slid open, revealing a complex electronic device. "Surveillance, as expected," she said. "Olivia, can you do anything with it?" Dr. Martinez examined the device without touching it. "It's monitoring temperature, movement, and, interesting, it's scanning for chemical compounds in the air. It's analyzing what we exhale. They're studying us like lab animals," William said bitterly. Laura made a decision. "We need to find out what they know about us." "Olivia, you said you could access some of their files on the ship. Can you do the same here?" Dr. Martinez hesitated. "Their security will be stronger here, but I can try. Their technology is advanced, but their network protocols have predictable patterns." For the next hour, Olivia worked on her device, while Laura and William kept watch. Finally, she looked up, her face pale. "I'm in their system. There's a huge amount of data about Earth and humans, but that's not all." She turned the screen so they could see. "Look at this classification." On the screen was an image of a human with text in alien script. Dr. Martinez's translation program worked slowly, converting symbols to English. Species, human. Planet of origin, Earth. Threat classification. Extreme danger, containment priority alpha. Containment, William whispered. "They see us as a threat." Laura pointed to more text as it translated. Physical resilience exceeds all known sentient species. Pain tolerance abnormal. Damage recovery extraordinary. Psychological profile indicates high aggression potential combined with advanced cooperation abilities. Conclusion: possible existential threat to galactic stability. The three humans stared at each other as the implications sank in. They weren't honored guests. They were being assessed as a danger to the entire galaxy. "We need to find out why they think we're so dangerous," Laura said firmly. "And we need to do it before they decide to take action against Earth." The next morning, a new human joined their delegation. Daniel Ross was a young security officer sent from Earth as additional support. He had bright eyes and an easy smile that masked his sharp mind. "Earth Command thought you might need some help," he explained as he unpacked in the room they gave him. "They're not entirely comfortable with how little information the aliens are sharing." Laura quickly brought Daniel up to speed on their discoveries. His eyes widened at the threat classification. "So they think we're dangerous. That's why they're afraid of us." "That's what we need to find out," Laura said. Their chance came that evening at a diplomatic reception. The Grand Hall was filled with representatives from dozens of alien species. The humans were kept together, with subtle barriers of guards ensuring they didn't mingle too freely. William used his diplomatic skills to engage various aliens in conversation, trying to extract useful information. Dr. Martinez observed the different species, noting their biological characteristics. Laura and Daniel worked the room from different angles, looking for security weaknesses. A server passed with drinks in crystal-like glasses. Daniel took one, but as he turned, an insect-like alien bumped into him. The glass slipped and shattered against a table edge. A sharp fragment cut Daniel's palm. "Sorry about that," Daniel said, looking down at his hand. Blood welled from a cut about an inch long. "It's just a small cut." The reaction was immediate and extreme. Aliens gasped and backed away. Some made high-pitched sounds that their translators didn't convert. Guards moved forward, hands on weapons. "Remain calm," one guard said, voice tense. "Medical assistance is coming." Daniel looked confused. "It's fine, really. Just a minor cut." He pulled a handkerchief from his pocket and wrapped it around his hand. The crowd's reaction grew even more panicked when they saw him apply pressure to the wound without showing pain. Ambassador Zorkev hurried over. "Please, you must come with me immediately." The four humans were quickly escorted back to their quarters. The door sealed behind them with a sound that made it clear they were now locked in. "That was bizarre," Daniel said, unwrapping his hand to check the cut. "You'd think they'd never seen blood before." Dr. Martinez was deep in thought. "It's not the blood itself. Many species have red blood. It's how you reacted to the injury." "I didn't react. It's just a cut." "Exactly," Laura said as understanding dawned. "You were injured, and you barely noticed. You didn't scream or panic. You treated it as minor." William paced the room. "This connects to what we found in their files. Physical resilience exceeds all known sentient species. Pain tolerance abnormal." "Are you saying other intelligent species can't handle pain like we can?" Daniel asked. Dr. Martinez nodded slowly. "I think injury and pain might be much more serious for them. What's minor to us could be debilitating for them." While they discussed this revelation, Laura noticed Dr. Martinez had opened her computer and was working intensely. "What are you doing, Olivia?" "Using the confusion from the incident to access more of their network." Their security protocols shifted when they went on alert. Her fingers flew across the screen. "I'm in. I'm downloading everything I can about humans." For the next hour, they reviewed the information Dr. Martinez had stolen. The files were extensive, detailed anatomical studies, psychological profiles, historical analyses, and threat assessments. "Look at this," Dr. Martinez said, pointing to one document. "They've been observing Earth for over 200 years. They've witnessed our wars, our technological development, how we handle disasters." "And this," Laura added, finding another file. Comparative species analysis. Humans compared to other sentient species. The data painted a clear picture. Humans could endure environmental conditions that would kill most aliens. They could survive injuries that would be fatal to others. They healed faster, adapted to toxins, and functioned under stress in ways that seemed impossible to the galactic community. But that wasn't all. The psychological assessments were even more alarming to the aliens. Humans' capacity for both violence and deep cooperation confused them. Their ability to consider death while fighting desperately against it seemed contradictory. Their drive to expand and explore was seen as potentially unstoppable. "They're not just afraid of us," William whispered as the truth became clear. "They're terrified of what we might become." The humans spent an uneasy night in their quarters, locked in and heavily guarded. In the morning, Ambassador Zorketh arrived with news. "Council Elder Exileth has agreed to meet with you privately," he announced. "This is highly unusual and a great honor." "When?" William asked. "Now. Please follow me." The humans exchanged glances. This could be their chance to understand the truth, or it could be dangerous. Either way, they had little choice. Zorketh led them through quiet corridors to a small garden dome. Waiting for them was a being unlike any they had seen before. Elder Exileth was tall and thin, with pale blue skin that seemed almost transparent. 6 long fingers on each hand moved gracefully as the ancient alien gestured for them to sit. "I apologize for your confinement," Exileth said, voice soft and musical. "The incident yesterday caused concern." William leaned forward. "Elder, we know you consider humans dangerous. We've seen the classification in your files. What we don't understand is why." Exileth was silent for a moment, large eyes studying each human in turn. "You accessed restricted files. Impressive. That should not have been possible." "We're full of surprises," Laura said dryly. "Yes, that is precisely the issue." Exileth sighed, a sound like wind through leaves. "Very well. You deserve to know the truth about yourselves." The elder pressed a button, and a holographic display appeared between them, showing the Milky Way galaxy. "Throughout our long history of space exploration, we have discovered one consistent pattern in the evolution of intelligent life." Exileth began. "Sentient species evolve through specialization and niche adaptation. They develop intelligence to overcome the limitations of their specialized bodies." The display zoomed in, showing various alien worlds and creatures. The Viridians evolved in stable swamps, their bodies perfect for that environment, but vulnerable elsewhere. The Zentari developed in arid deserts, specialized for water conservation. Each species has strengths in their natural environment, but significant weaknesses outside it. "And humans?" Dr. Martinez asked. The display changed to show Earth. "Humans are evolutionary anomalies," Exileth said simply. "You evolved as extreme generalists. Your planet has deserts, oceans, mountains, forests, and your species can survive in all of them. You can eat almost anything. You can adapt to temperature ranges that would kill most sentient species." Daniel shrugged. "So we're adaptable. Why is that scary?" "It is not just adaptability." Exileth pointed to the image of a human body. "Your physical form is remarkable. You heal from injuries that would be fatal to others. A broken bone for most species means death or permanent disability. Humans simply repair it and continue." The elder touched another control. "Your pain tolerance is extraordinary. What you call minor pain would incapacitate most sentient beings. And this." The hologram showed human history. People building in harsh conditions, surviving disasters, fighting wars. "Your psychological composition is perhaps most concerning. You combine high aggression with sophisticated cooperation. You conceptualize death, yet fight against it relentlessly. You take risks that no rational species would consider. And your drive to expand and explore seems to have no limits." Laura studied the images. "These are our strengths, not reasons to fear us." "From your perspective, yes." Exileth's voice grew softer. But imagine how other species see you. You can survive conditions that would kill them instantly. You can continue fighting with injuries that would leave them helpless. Your bodies can process toxins that would be instantly fatal to others. William began to understand. We're like super beings to you. In many ways, yes. A single unarmed human could potentially kill dozens of individuals from most council species before being stopped, simply by virtue of your durability and pain resistance. But we're not violent by nature, Laura protested. We don't want to hurt anyone. Perhaps not intentionally. Kahileth stood and moved to a window, looking out at the alien city. But you must understand, to the rest of the galaxy, humans are terrifying. You are beings who can survive almost anywhere, adapt to almost anything, and overcome obstacles that would stop any other species. The elder turned back to face them, eyes reflecting an emotion the humans couldn't quite read. The truth that has shaken our galaxy is simple. Humans are not just another intelligent species. You are potentially unstoppable. After their meeting with Elder Exileth, the humans were escorted back to their quarters. They were silent, each lost in thought about what they had learned. So we're space monsters, Daniel finally said, trying to break the tension. Laura shook her head. We're just different, but different enough to frighten them. Dr. Martinez was reviewing data on her device. According to these files, they'd been debating what to do about humanity for decades. They knew we'd develop space travel eventually. What options are they considering? William asked. Before she could answer, the door opened and Ambassador Zorketh entered with several officials. Their expressions were grave. The full council has reached a decision regarding Earth, Zorketh announced. You will be presented with their terms tomorrow. Terms? Laura stepped forward. What kind of terms? I am not authorized to discuss details. Rest tonight. Tomorrow will be significant. After they left, Dr. Martinez continued searching through the files she had accessed. Here it is, she said grimly. The Council is considering two options for humanity. Option 1 is called controlled integration. We accept strict limitations on our development and expansion. Limited space travel, monitored technology advancement, restricted population growth. And Option 2? Daniel asked. Quarantine. Earth would be isolated by a blockade of Council ships. Any human vessel attempting to leave our solar system would be destroyed. William pounded his fist on the table. That's outrageous. They can't just contain an entire species because they're afraid of what we might do. They've done it before, Dr. Martinez said quietly, pointing to another file. 3 other species in the last 10,000 years, species that were deemed too aggressive or unpredictable. Laura paced the room. We need to contact Earth, warned them. Communications are blocked, Daniel reminded her. We're on our own. The next morning, the humans were brought to the Grand Council chamber. Hundreds of alien representatives sat in rising tiers around a central floor. The humans stood in the middle, surrounded by guards. A panel of 7 elders, including Tyleth, faced them. The lead elder, a massive being with crystalline features, spoke first. Humans of Earth, the Galactic Council has deliberated on the status of your species. While we acknowledge your achievements and potential, we must also consider the safety of all galactic citizens. The terms were exactly as Dr. Martinez had found. Either accept severe restrictions on human development or face complete isolation. You have 1 standard day to consider these options, the elder concluded. William stepped forward, his diplomatic training taking over. Honored elders, if I may respond. The council members looked surprised but nodded. You fear humanity because we are different, William began. But difference is not danger. Yes, we can endure conditions that would harm others. Yes, we heal quickly and resist pain. But these traits have helped us survive, not dominate. He walked in a circle, addressing all the gathered aliens. You've watched our history and seen our wars. But have you also seen how we build, how we create art, how we care for the sick and protect the weak? Have you seen how we value life, not just our own? Some of the aliens were listening intently. Others seemed unmoved. Humanity does not want to threaten the galaxy, William continued. We want to join it, to learn from it, to contribute to it. Judge us by our actions, not our potential to harm. While William spoke, Laura noticed something on a nearby display screen. Security alerts and a report about a council's special operations team. Using her military training, she edged closer and quickly read the information. Her blood ran cold. A Black Ops team had been dispatched to Earth, not for attack, but for something potentially worse. Dr. Martinez had translated only part of the files. The Council's actual plan wasn't quarantine. It was the gradual genetic modification of humanity over generations, making them more manageable. Laura caught William's eye and gave a subtle signal. They needed to end this meeting quickly. They had to find a way to warn Earth before it was too late. Back in their quarters, Laura quickly shared what she had discovered. A genetic modification program. Dr. Martinez was horrified. They want to change our fundamental nature. Over generations, Laura confirmed. Subtle changes to make humans less resilient, less adaptable, more like other species. William paced the room. They're giving us a choice that isn't a choice, while they're already moving against Earth. We have to escape, Daniel said firmly. Get back to Earth and warn them. Laura nodded. I think we can do it, but it won't be easy. They spent hours planning, using Dr. Martinez's access to the alien systems to study the layout of Nexus Prime and available ships. Finally, they had a plan. It was risky, but they had no other option. William, you'll have to stay behind, Laura said reluctantly. I know, he agreed. As Earth's official diplomat, I have some protection. I can create a distraction, buy you time. They waited until the station's sleep cycle when security would be at its lowest. Dr. Martinez used her computer to trigger a false alarm in another sector, drawing away some of the guards. Ready? Laura asked, looking at her companions. Daniel nodded, his face determined. Let's show them just how adaptable humans can be. Dr. Martinez activated her final program, overriding the door locks. They stepped into the corridor, moving quietly but quickly. The first challenge came at a security checkpoint. 2 guards blocked their path, weapons ready. Halt! Return to your quarters immediately. Daniel moved forward, using the hand-to-hand combat techniques he had learned in training. The aliens, unused to physical confrontation, were quickly overwhelmed. One guard managed to sound an alarm before Daniel subdued him. We need to move faster, Laura said as alarms began to sound throughout the complex. They ran through corridors, following the map Dr. Martinez had memorized. Twice they encountered security teams and had to find alternate routes. Once, they had to climb through maintenance shafts that were barely large enough for their bodies. The docking bay should be just ahead, Dr. Martinez said, breathing hard. They rounded a corner and found themselves facing the security barrier. Dr. Martinez rushed to the control panel, her fingers flying over the alien interface. I can't bypass it quickly enough, she said as the sound of approaching guards grew louder. Daniel examined the barrier. It's designed to stop energy weapons, not physical force. Without hesitation, he backed up and then ran forward, slamming his shoulder against the barrier's frame. The aliens had not designed it to withstand the full force of a determined human. After 3 attempts, the frame began to buckle. Laura joined him, and together they forced the barrier open just enough to squeeze through. Dr. Martinez followed, wincing as the sharp edge cut her arm. I'm fine, she insisted when Laura looked concerned. Keep moving. In the docking bay, they found what they were looking for, a small scout ship with simple controls. Can you fly it? Daniel asked as they rushed aboard. I studied their navigation systems, Laura replied, taking the pilot's seat. It's not that different from our own. Behind them, security forces poured into the docking bay. Energy weapons fired, hitting the ship's hull. Shields are holding. Dr. Martins reported from a control panel, but not for long. Laura activated the engines, and the ship rose shakily. More security forces arrived, setting up heavier weapons. "We need to get out now," Daniel urged. Laura pushed the engines to full power. The little ship shot forward, crashing through the bay's energy barrier and into open space. Alarms blared as the ship took damage. The control panel sparked, and smoke filled the cabin. "We're hit, but still flying," Laura called out, fighting with the controls. On the screens behind them, they could see Council ships launching in pursuit. "Can we outrun them?" Daniel asked. Laura checked the navigation system. "Not for long. But we might not have to. There's a hyperspace jump point nearby, if we can reach it." The ship shuddered as another energy blast struck them. Systems failed across the control board. "We're losing power," Dr. Martins warned. Laura pushed the damaged ship to its limits. The hyperspace jump point was just ahead, their one chance to escape and warn Earth. Behind them, the Council fleet closed in, determined to stop the humans from revealing the truth about the galaxy's fears and plans. The stolen ship shuddered as Laura pushed it toward the hyperspace jump point. Council vessels fired again, striking their engines. "We're not going to make it," Dr. Martins said, looking at the damage reports. Daniel moved to the ship's communication system. "Maybe we don't have to. If we can send a message to Earth." Laura nodded. "Do it. Warn them about the genetic modification plan." Daniel worked quickly, composing a message with all the information they had discovered. Just as he finished, another blast rocked the ship. The engines failed completely. "Message sent," he announced. "But I don't know if it got through." The ship drifted in space as the Council vessels surrounded them. A voice came over the communication system. "Human vessel, power down all systems and prepare to be boarded." Laura looked at her companions. "We tried our best." 2 weeks later, on Earth, leaders from every nation gathered in an emergency session. The message from Nexus Prime had reached them, along with all the data Dr. Martinez had stolen. The evidence was clear. Humanity was seen as a threat by the galactic community, and action was already being taken against them. "The Council's Black Ops team has been captured," General Harris reported to the Assembly. They confirmed the plan to alter human genetics over generations. President Elena Chen stood at the podium. "We now face a choice. Do we isolate ourselves, fight, or is there another way?" After days of heated debate, humanity chose a third option. Instead of accepting the Council's terms or preparing for war, they would take a different approach. Thousands of ships were prepared, smaller than Council vessels but faster. Each carried a small team of human diplomats, scientists, and cultural experts. Their mission: bypass the Galactic Council entirely and make direct contact with individual alien civilizations. 3 months after the emergency session, the operation began. Human vessels scattered across the galaxy, bringing their message directly to hundreds of worlds. Laura Bennett, released in a prisoner exchange along with Dr. Martinez and Daniel, led one of these diplomatic missions. Standing before the leaders of the Viridian homeworld, she spoke plainly. "Yes, humans are different. We are resilient in ways that may seem frightening, but we want to use our strengths to help, not harm." Dr. Martinez established scientific partnerships, showing how human medical knowledge could be adapted to help other species. "We can learn from each other," she told alien scientists. "Our differences can be our greatest strength." Daniel Ross helped create cultural exchange programs. "The best way to overcome fear is through understanding," he explained to groups of curious aliens. On planet after planet, the human message was the same. They wished to join the galactic community as equals, offering their unique perspectives and abilities as assets rather than threats. Not all species were convinced. Some remained fearful, supporting the Council's position. But many were intrigued by these strange, adaptable beings who refused to be contained. William Carter, finally released from Nexus Prime, became the voice of humanity to the Galactic Council itself. "We will not be defined by your fears," he told them. "We define ourselves by our choices, and we choose cooperation over conflict." Over time, attitudes began to shift. The terrifying truth about humanity gradually transformed in the galactic consciousness. Yes, humans were dangerous in their potential, but they were also innovators, healers, explorers, and allies, unlike any the galaxy had known before. On Earth, schools began teaching children about their galactic neighbors. Technology exchanges improved life for all species. Cultural understanding grew in both directions. The escape from Nexus Prime became known throughout the galaxy as the Human Gambit, the opening move in humanity's entrance to galactic society on their own terms. Years later, Laura stood on the observation deck of Earth's first official embassy on Nexus Prime. Beside her was Ambassador Zorketh, now one of humanity's strongest allies. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out this way?" she asked him. Zorketh made the gesture that was his species' equivalent of a smile. "No, we feared what you might become. We never considered what you already were." Laura watched ships from dozens of worlds dock at the Earth Embassy, bringing visitors eager to meet these resilient, adaptable humans. "The truth about humanity wasn't so terrifying after all," she said. "Just different. And difference, when understood, isn't something to fear. It is something," Zorketh agreed, "to celebrate."